real talk when it comes to sports, covering the news, giving you the truth. Nothing but that real on hoops in the league. All things NFL, we don't miss a thing. Getting with the coverage, we loving it all day. Picking up the news, tell us wherever the ball lay. With the NFL, NBA, they box so. Sports news in the hands of a man with fair takes. Tell them, coach, statistics and realness that's being spoke. Either hit it for the win or they hitting the goalposts. Either way, we woke up to the news of the day. Any Kenny could call it, he like to talk it out with Ray. Fast breaks down the lane, they better move out the way, or they pulling from perimeter. Curry bury the trade, yeah, they got it. Woo! Duval with the hottest. Chris and Dev like the master and mix it up like it's Logic being modest. They been looking for that real, trying to get it feel. Sports podcast, they running back on the real. That's a steal, yeah. They never sick, but they ill. Real sports talk going, deliver, signed and sealed. We bring that real talk when it comes to sports, covering the news, giving you the truth. Nothing but that real on hoops in the league. All things NFL, we don't miss a thing.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Christopher Brown, and I have the pleasure of hosting Real Talk with my good friends Kenny and Dev. Fellas, how y'all doing tonight?
Good, man. Glad to be back. It's been a long time.
Absolutely. Dev, how you feeling tonight?
Man, I'm feeling good, fellas. I ain't seen y'all in like last year sometime.
Honestly, it's been a while.
It has.
Well, let's get right into it. It's a lot of sports news that's been going on the past couple of months. We're going to try to get into some today, and we got some more coming for y'all in the future. Let's start off with the NFL. The Denver Broncos are releasing Russell Wilson after 2 years, after, in my opinion, the worst trade of all time, giving up multiple picks, giving up a huge contract, and now they're about to have $85 million in dead cap. So, Dev, let me ask you this. Are they making the right decision in releasing Russell Wilson?
Nope. they didn't even make the right decision when they traded for Russell Wilson, man. Remember, dated back when this trade happened, I told y'all, I said him leaving the Seahawks going to the Broncos didn't really make no difference. It was pretty much the same built type team that he was left. And if he couldn't win in Seattle, he's not going to win in Denver. And then it's kind of funny that as soon as Geno Smith get his first shot being a starting quarterback, that he was able to take the Seahawks to the playoffs, and the Broncos wasn't able to even sniff the playoffs. So that kind of lets you know, it was like, well, maybe it's not the system. Maybe it can be Russ. But, the Broncos tried to stick with him, tried to, be loyal, which you should, because you did all them pricks and trades to give up for him. I just really feel like that now that it's not all about Russ. That's the problem in Denver. You know what I mean? It just the chemistry between him and Sean Payton is just not a good chemistry. Everybody keep thinking that the same mentality that he had in New Orleans was going to be the same way it was going to be in Denver, all because of Drew Brees and Russell Wilson kind of had similar statures as quarterback, and they thought it was all going to be a good ride. So now we see that just because what you did with Drew Brees is not going to work with Russell Wilson. And I'll go on a record again and said it, and I'm going to say it again. I don't believe in Coach Payton anymore. That's the same guy that quit on the Saints years ago, all because of the team wasn't built the way he wanted to have it. So that's why he quit on the Saints. So now, flash forward to this, I don't believe in Sean Payton. I think it was a bad move. I don't believe that there's another quarterback that you can bring in free agency or in the draft that's going to be able to help the Broncos get lifted up into a playoff contention team.
So let me ask you this. You say you don't believe in Sean Payton, and looking at Anthony's comment, thank you, Anthony, for tuning in. Do you believe it was Russell Wilson was the problem, or do you think it was Sean Payton?
It was a mixture. It was a 50-50. That's why I was saying, like, the chemistry between those two wasn't a good chemistry, because we all seen that Russell Wilson was trying to win the public. Trying to make sure that fans actually come to the games. He was doing the political type things, kissing babies, greeting fans, helping the fans out and whatever it is in the community. That was him. Sean Payton didn't really like that. Sean Payton was like, no, you should win more games. You got to do this on the field to win the loyalty of the fans. So I just think that since those two didn't hit it off in the right way, now you can kind of see it ain't going to end in the right way.
Yeah. So I'm with you on that. I'm gonna get my thoughts in a second. But Kenny, how do you feel? You believe the Broncos made the right decision on releasing him? Are you with Dev? Do you think they should never traded for him in the first place? And then, when you're done, talk about that last comment from Anthony. Who do you think was the problem? Russell or Sean Payton?
Yeah, so yeah, I'll address both. So I agree with Dev. I think that this was a shot in the dark. They were trying to hit a home run, and it wasn't done correctly. Like, we knew coming in that Russ was showing signs of decline. So I guess they thought that they could catch lightning in a bottle, and they just didn't. And then the other part is that they basically gave them the keys to the kingdom and then took them away after 1 year. So to me, that's a sign of dysfunction. So now that you're eating all of this cap money, now you have to hit a home run, and you got to find a franchise quarterback, in his next draft, or else you're going to be, pretty much in cap. You know what I'm saying? For the next, I don't know how many years. So I just think that it was more so Sean Payton. I think that he wants to have his own guy. And so he convinced the front office to go ahead and take that hit, and with the hopes that they believe that he's going to find his Drew Brees 2.0. Well, I believe that. I think the jury's still out on that.
Yeah, I'm with both of y'all. I really didn't see cutting Russell was some good move, but if you put that comment for me real quick, I don't think it's a good move when you have that cap hit. You say it's a good move, but how would this really improve your team? I'm with you. If they better hope they find a franchise quarterback. And yes, there's a lot of quarterbacks in this draft. I like a lot of them. But are you sure that's going to be the guy? Are you sure you're going to surround him with the right pieces? When you bring in a young quarterback and you throw them into the wolves, that's not the right thing to do. We saw it this year with Bryce Young, and he was the number one pick. Number one pick, all the glitz, the glamour, the glory, but he couldn't get it done on the field. Why? Because he didn't have the necessary tools around him. When I look at the Broncos, to me, they missed their opportunity years ago. This roster just keeps getting worse and worse and worse for the past 5-6 years. That's, to me, when they should have traded for the quarterback. They waited till it was too late. And you put him in the same situation as Seattle. So I was with you, Dev. I didn't see a difference of him going from Seattle to Denver because he's in the same situation. And if not worse, because, I like the defense, but you don't have a DK Metcalf. You don't have a Tyler Lockett, and I like those the receivers in Denver, but they don't compare to the ones in Seattle. So I'm with you again. I don't think they even should have traded for him. But with that being said, he's on the market. What teams do you think should call him up and try to bring him in, if any? Kenny, I'll start with you.
I think Atlanta makes a whole lot of sense. One, because of the family ties, his wife is from the area. So you have that part of it. And then you got some young pieces that just need a veteran quarterback. You got some young talent there. You got a Kyle Pitts, a talented tight end, Bijan Robinson, a talented running back that are, relatively young, first or second year, third year. So I think that that's a place that will be a good look for him. I think another one is Pittsburgh, the Steelers. I'm not sure about the Raiders, Anthony, just because, again, well, you know what? I take that back. Now that they hired Antonio Pierce, I think that may be a better look. Like the way the organization was being run before, I would say no, but now I think they're moving in the right direction. So that could be a good look for them. But I like Atlanta, and another one is Pittsburgh. I think the Steelers could be a good place for them because I don't think Pickett is it. So I think that's another place where you kind of got a ready-made situation to, be able to go to a contender, because we know that Mike Tomlin is a winning coach. So those are the two that pop out to me.
It's funny because two of those teams were on my list, in Atlanta and Steelers. So I'm not even going to say my list. But you, Dev, who do you think should try to contact Russell Wilson to bring him in?
I would say that at first it would have been the Steelers, but I also read an article that the Steelers are not interested in bringing in no veteran type style quarterback. They pretty much going to try to ride with this Kenny Pickett and Mason Rudolph as their quarterbacks for their competition. I would say one will be the Washington Commanders. They got like Kenny said, for the Atlanta Falcons. The Washington Commanders also got some young talent down there also. And then, you know, what they're trying to build down there in Washington. I think that, you know, with fresh heads down there, fresh management, that you see they went a different way without Eric Bieniemy now down there. I think that's the chance for him to try to revamp his career, because nobody seems, and I hate to say this to y'all since y'all both NFC East representatives, nobody really wants to take over the NFC East. You know what I mean? We thought Philly can be that team, but we see Philly kind of having the up and down year with them losing their offense and defensive coordinator last year. We thought that the Cowboys was going to be that strong team. We see that at times that they got a lot of dysfunction and bad team chemistry towards the end of the season. We thought the Giants was going to start making noise, but we see that playoff run that they had a year before was just noise. You know what I mean? So I just feel like if Russ really wants to revamp his career and try to have his own team again, I think Washington would be a good fit for him. Another team, I would say that he will probably be in a quarterback competition, or I don't think that this team will really open arms to welcome him. But the Minnesota Vikings, they love Kurt Cobain, you know what I mean, Kirk Cousins, and the community is most definitely surrounding Kirk Cousins, and they want to bring him back. So that will be another good fit, because you got young talent down there also, and you still got Justin Jefferson, you got Addison as the wide receiver duo. I think they still looking for a running back, because I think they released Madison, if I'm not mistaken. But
which was crazy to me, because I thought he was playing well. Then they brought in Chandler. Then Madison stopped getting touches. So, you know, I'm just mind the business that pays me.
So, but my number one team will be the Washington Commanders, really, just to be different.
And see, I was thinking of teams that are already put together. You know, that there's not in a rebuild mode. When I look at Washington, the only reason I didn't name them is because they have that number 2 pick. You know, they have that number 2 pick. But
here's the thing: they got that number 2 pick to help Russ come down there and to be successful. We already know that Caleb Williams is probably going number 1. We kind of, you know, it looks like the Bears is kind of going in a direction. So why not just go get Marvin Harrison Jr.? I'm go down there, help Scary Terry down there.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Crazy combo.
Yeah, you know, I'm gonna say my thoughts for that later on, and that's why I didn't name him on there. But you know, we talk about receivers and Scary Terry. We talked about guy Marvin Harrison Jr. Let's talk about guy Mike Evans, who, if you look at his numbers, to me, is a Hall of Famer, but doesn't get the credit he deserves, and it's baffling to me. He just signed for Tampa Bay 2 years, I believe, $52 million. You got to respect that coin. You signed that big money. He deserved it. Kenny, let me ask you, do you think he deserved? I mean, not deserved. Do you think he made the right choice? I'm sorry, and re-signed with Tampa Bay?
I guess I'm a creature of habit. So I think that was part of it, was that he felt comfortable in Tampa Bay, been there his whole career. And, of course, the financial part of it, no state income tax, so you get to keep a lot more of your money. And then I think him and Baker kind of found something. So I think this may I don't know you can ask this, but it just popped in my head. But this may also mean that Baker Mayfield is coming back as well, because I don't think that he would have signed. You know what I'm saying?
Unless he had
I don't think he would have signed that contract if the quarterback situation was up in the air.
I'm with you on that. Definitely with you on that. Dev, what you think?
I think Mike Evans made the right decision, because number one, I just feel like he's at this part of his career now. I just feel like, yes, he's getting better each year. We clearly see that. But him going to another team, let's just say, like, he doesn't go to a contender. He just go to a same type of par team as the Bucks. You know what I mean? It was like, well, damn, you could have just stayed with the Bucks and finish your career out there as a whole Buck instead of you trying to jump ship and thinking that this team could be a Super Bowl contender. You know what I mean? So I really think that it was a smart move because, like what Coach said, that state income tax really helps out your money. You get all your coins and all your money's, checks. So I know that's a good thing. Another thing is that he gets to play in warm weather all over again. As the older you get, your body just adapts to that warm weather. Nobody wants to keep playing in the cold weather every Sunday or every week. You know what I mean? So I just think that Mike Evans made the right decision, and I think the Bucks made a better decision of making sure that you take care of home first before you start branching out to other guys who hasn't really proven themselves yet.
Well, today I'm gonna get my Ray Stradamus on and totally disagree with both of you guys. I'll say this: Tampa made the right decision, of course, bringing in Mike Evans, who could argue is a top 10, top 8 receiver every single year. But I don't think Mike Evans made the right choice. When I look at this Tampa Bay team, I don't think they're bad. I just don't know how dominant they are in the NFC. And yes, that division, a bad division too, though, Chris. They're a bad division, but just because you win the division don't mean you're going to make a real run. And I say that they're in a bad division, but they're not dominating the division. The division's still up for grabs. Everybody's still 1 or 2 pieces away from taking the next step of becoming a real playoff team. Tampa Bay just peaked at the right time, and they had some close games that could have went the other way.
Carolina still got a long way to go.
Well, yeah, we can move them to the side. We can move them to the side. But the Saints in Atlanta, to me, they're closer. Well, Atlanta, I'm going to talk about them later. But I think all teams to me are in the same boat. I just look at the quarterback play, and I think Baker's the better quarterback out of those guys. That's why they got the nod. So to your point, Kenny, I think he's not signing this deal unless he knows Baker Mayfield's coming back. And there's nothing against Mike Evans, nothing against Tampa. I just, because of the culture and everybody says you have to win a ring to be validated, I'm a guy that wants to see Mike Evans validated by people that don't really know how dominant he is. So I think a ring would have helped that situation. And I do think a lot of these –
he got a ring, so –
and I was, what's crazy? And I was at that Super Bowl too, and I done forgot he won a ring. So he's
validated. He's already solidified as a Hall of Famer. If we go out and count that,
you're right. I don't know how that slipped my mind because they've been bad for these past couple of years. So that especially last year, in my opinion, they didn't achieve what I thought they really could. But I'll say this: I'm not going to go back on what I said. I would have rather him go in a situation where he could win more. However, now that I remember he has a ring, I'm going to take that argument out.
So where would you rather him would go at then if he wasn't Tampa Bay?
Well, barring that teams have money to spend, I got to look at, some cap space. But there's a lot of teams to me I think could use that veteran receiver.
I ain't even gonna lie. I think the Ravens could have used them since we're not going to sign Odell back.
You know how many times I say the Ravens need a receiver, so that's one team. Cleveland could always use some more receiver help. There's a lot of teams that had these quarterbacks that are, I want to stay close. The Giants, oh well, they don't have a quarterback, but they could definitely they could use. I see somebody said the Texans.
That would have been nasty.
The Texans would have that would have been nice.
That would have been gross. That would have been that'd have been the Arizona could use receivers.
Nah, they ain't even trying to sign back Brown.
Oh man, well I don't know what they're doing. Lost the Chargers could use the Mike Evans. Mike Williams is always hurt. So I mean, I'll say this. I forgot he had a ring, so again I'm gonna take that back. But I would have rather see him being somewhere where he could be appreciated a little bit more as far as impacting the winning on a bigger scale. I think he's going to help them. They could make the playoffs. They could win a game in the playoffs maybe. But I'm talking about that championship run. I think there's a couple teams that could have used Mike Evans. I don't know if they've been able to pay him what he got in Tampa, but if their pitch was strong, maybe they could have got him. But shout out to Mike Evans for getting that coin. Real quick, and we're going to talk about this comment from Joseph. Salute.
That's love. Appreciate you tuning in.
Appreciate you. What's going on? We talking about sports. We talking about sports, and this next topic, we're going to talk about the Chicago Bears with the number 1 pick. Dev. What should they do with this number 1 pick?
Trade it. Trade it. Can't lie. like Caleb. I like Caleb Williams, man. I think Shorty's going to be a decent quarterback in this league.
Mm-hmm.
But Justin Fields is also a decent quarterback in this league, man. We all know that my guy LJ was MVP.
Absolutely.
But you want to know what other quarterback that had almost the same similar stats as my MVP quarterback?
Oh, I know.
Justin Fields. So you got to sit here and think that only thing that Justin Fields couldn't do was translate those big time stats into wins. And it's not all his fault.
Mm-hmm.
Because we clearly see that when Justin Fields wasn't on the field, the Chicago Bears was trash. It was, you know what I mean, no way near of being a competitive team. But when Justin Fields got in there, at times that, yes, he had to play that backyard football. He had to look like Lamar, you know, trying to keep his team in winning positions. But Justin Fields had did that. I'm not saying that Caleb Williams is not going to be able to do that in this league. But do you want to waste a whole year to see, is he that guy? Or, as we critics keep on telling the Chicago Bears, put some talent around this guy can flourish. Once again, I keep on throwing Marvin Harrison name Jr. out there. That is another guy that can help Justin Fields out. We already showed when you put DJ Moore with him that was his guy, that he was a 1,000-yard wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
So why not add another weapon, add another tight end, add a decent running back there? Because even though that they lost Roquan Smith, the Chicago Bears was still a top 15 defense.
Yeah, especially bringing Montez Sweat.
You know what I mean? I just really think that the Bears should just, if you're not going to, if Marvin Harrison is not your number one overall pick, man, or another help that can help Justin Fields, I would just go ahead and trade that pick and get as much as you can so you can load up on the back end or next year.
I'm with you. I'm with you. And I think, honestly, this decision is going to be so impactful for Chicago. Somebody's either going to get fired or promoted. Because this is going to make or break your franchise for the next couple of years, especially how important this quarterback position is. And I've been saying for a while, quarterbacks like Lamar, quarterbacks like Jalen Hurts, and you can add Justin Fields into that category that are so explosive with their legs. You have to still surround them with receiver talent. You can't just expect them to be a quote-unquote running quarterback. That's not going to work. That's not going to win you games. You saw what Zay Flowers did when you drafted a wide receiver in the first round, what him and Lamar did in that playoff game. We saw what trading for A.J. Brown did for Jalen Hurts. So we saw what this year DJ Moore did, you know, for Justin Fields. So why not do that again and bring in Marvin Harrison Jr.? You know, why not? I don't understand. To me, that's the right case. I've been saying it all along. Justin Fields is one of the best young quarterbacks in this game. He just doesn't have the receivers, even a tight end help around him. So why not build around him? But if you're not going to, whatever decision they make, and I'm going to pass this on to you, Kenny, whatever decision they make, you have to go 100% with that decision. There's no looking back. There's no second thoughts. Whatever, if you're going to draft Caleb or if you're going to, you know, stay with Justin Fields, whatever quarterback you decide to use or have as your starting quarterback next year, you have to support him 100%. Bring in whatever he needs, receivers, tight ends, offensive line. You have to go all in. Unless if you don't do that, you made the wrong decision. So, Kenny, what you think they should do with that number one pick?
Yeah, I agree with you guys in terms of putting some talent around Justin Fields. And I'm going to take it a step further. If they draft Caleb Williams to, I think it was Dev that said that somebody's getting fired.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's getting fired because, one, you're going to bring a guy in that's unproven into the Chicago market. And no disrespect, this was the same guy, if we're talking about Caleb Williams, that was crying in his mother's arms at a college game. Like, come on, let's be real. This is real talk. Like, you bringing this guy to Chicago as the number one pick? You know how much pressure that is? And then you're not going to put any talent around him because you're not trading. Well, if you're trading Justin Fields and you get a haul of picks, then okay, maybe. But then you got to hit on those picks. And we know the draft picks are hit and miss. So to me, it's like you're starting all over. So it makes no sense to trade Justin Fields, in my opinion. I think you have to go with a Marvin Harrison Jr. You have to surround him with. You put him to y'all. Y'all have already said it. You put him and DJ Moore together. Even Kmet, I'm a Notre Dame fan, so Cole Kmet is a solid tight end.
He is.
I think and with more talent, you put two legitimate threats on the outside with Cole Kmet in the scene. I think you really start to unleash Justin Fields, and you really get to see the best version of him because he's been working handicap, for lack of a better term. This was the first year he actually had a number one receiver. So you just need to keep building on that. You don't just scrap that now and then just go to plan B. It just makes no sense to me.
So let me ask you this. I trust no one who hides. And it was a comment earlier that said, let me find this. By Joseph, Caleb Williams is going to go down as the biggest bust in NFL history.
Ooh.
Yeah. And I didn't want to skip it.
He ain't going to outdo Jamarcus Russell.
Appropriate talent around him.
What's up,
that's true.
Romanita? That's one of my players' moms. Shout out to Romanita Wood.
Appreciate you supporting us. And we all agree. Like I said earlier, if you're going to whatever quarterback you choose, and I named a list of quarterbacks who kind of have that same playing style, you don't surround them with receiver talent, it's going to be hard for them to succeed. And yes, they have darn talent. We saw with Justin Fields at Ohio State. To me, I thought he was on par with Trevor Lawrence. But you see what the Jaguars did. You bring in Ridley, you have Christian Kirk, you have Evan Ingram. You have all these guys around him to make life as a passer easy. Why not do that for Justin Fields? But let's just say Chicago
doesn't take advantage of that. He couldn't even get in playoffs.
You're right about that.
Oh, wait, bad comparison.
As far as look at his numbers though. I'm saying, look what he's doing with that. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying he's winning or losing. I'm talking about him being a passing quarterback. He has the talent compared to Justin Fields. You don't think so?
I'm not sold on Trevor Lawrence anymore. He really.
Oh wow.
He really took a step back this year. I got to see one more year of him behind Peterson's system, and if he doesn't look this great, even as an average quarterback, man, I don't want to have to put him down there with Danny Dimes, but
you're going that low.
His game looked a little suspect last year, man. It was games that the Jaguars should have won. It was throws that Trevor Lawrence should have hit, wide open throws that he should have hit. So I'm not going to give him that he sucked yet, but I don't really believe in Trevor Lawrence right now.
I believe that's just me though. So that's just me. Maybe because I had a lot of those guys on my fantasy team and they helped me win something. So maybe that's why my belief is so strong. But speaking, and talking about Chicago, talking about Justin Fields, let's just say they don't agree with us. Let's say they think Caleb's their guy. They want to build around Caleb. They want to, build around him while they still have that rookie deal with a quarterback, which is important, building around the team. Who do you think should be that team to trade for Justin Fields? I know me. I think it's only one. It's two good answers, but I think there's only one place that needs the U-Haul and bring him in. So Kenny, who do you think should go get Justin Fields if Chicago makes him?
No, I want to hear your one because I think
Atlanta.
We agree.
Atlanta.
Agree.
I guess I'm feeling
So
like
that's the only one. That's the no-brainer because the big three there.
Yeah, I like Pittsburgh as a sleeper. I like them as a sleeper. I know you don't, Dev. I don't think you like anything Pittsburgh, being that you're a Ravens guy. But I think when I look at Atlanta, they're so talented. Even on defensive side, which was slept on, they were one of the best pass defenses. Had very good performances at time. When I look at their offense and those weapons that they have and that running game that they have, you bring in a quarterback who can be a quarterback, and you let that young team ball out. And then this is no disrespect to Desmond Ridder at all, but I think it's shown that Atlanta, I don't think they know who their quarterback is unless they bring in a new one. I think they're, up in the air. So why not close all that noise and go get you a Justin Fields?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that's the logical spot. And now he's from that area too, if I'm not mistaken. So you could like have a Mike Vick 2.0, which would be crazy for the city of Atlanta.
Yes,
and
it
then you
would
put
be.
him, Kyle Pitts, Bijan, like we talked about it before with Russ. You put those three guys together, you basically got a big three for the next 10 years at least, assuming everybody stays healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the most logical, and I think that it's going to be that gotta be rain.
I
It
got
has
it.
to be.
That
It has
gotta
to be.
be rain.
What about I gotta bring this team up again. Bray, I guess your team is just a hot commodity. What about the Washington Commanders?
I want to be mad at that because I think they're a quarterback away. Even though I don't think Sam Howell. Well, let me not say this.
Sam Howell is not that guy.
I was going to say that. I was going. Let me get
not
there.
him.
I was going to say, he's not a terrible quarterback, but I think Justin Fields is the upgrade that you need to take your team to the next level. We all I personally look at Washington being in the NFC East. I'm a realist. I look at that team on paper for years and say there's no way that they're a quarterback away from really putting some heart and thoughts. Don't need nobody.
That's funny.
Sir, you have not watched you must not watch the Washington Commanders. They need everybody down
They
there.
need everybody. But when you look at that roster,
No, I think what he's saying is whenever they sign a free agent,
it doesn't go right. It doesn't go good.
Yeah.
Especially at that quarterback
Well,
position.
this won't be a free agent sign. This be a trade. So
That's true.
Yeah. That is true.
It might go different.
They're a quarterback away, though. I've been saying this for a while. Quarterback and a good coach away from really. I'm not going to say winning the division.
Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that, buddy.
Me too. Me too. This is going to be the only time I'm giving Washington a compliment. You get a good coach, and a quarterback, but that's if y'all want to do that. Because we've been saying the same thing for this team for a while, and nothing's changed. So, you have the number 2 pick. If you can't get Caleb, if they're trading away for Caleb, you might want to get on the Justin Fields sweepstakes. So I like that, Dev.
Might as well, man. You might as well. If you're going to shoot, you might as well shoot big. You know what I mean? Because like you said, he's still on the rookie deal.
Mm-hmm.
So why draft a rookie quarterback where you got a quarterback that has proved that he can play in this league and still on the rookie deal?
Mm-hmm.
I go ahead and trade him. Jaden Daniels ain't gonna last that long. What spot Washington in?
They have the number 2 pick.
Oh, they might get him.
They might can get Jaden Daniels then.
Yeah.
And let me see if they have any other first round. I know for sure they have the number 2. I don't know if they have any other ones in the first.
Hey man, did Houston got 2 picks in this draft again?
If
they do, man, they scamming.
Gary Owls if they do. That's good. Great.
Well, I think they have the 23rd pick, and they had that's it, just the 23rd pick in the first. I was about to say it was going to get dangerous if they had that another first round pick with that young team. But
to Anthony's point though, can the Commanders really wait that long for Jaden Daniels to be that guy if that's the route that they go? Do you really want to take another RG3 type quarterback again?
And are you sure you're going to be able to keep these young pieces that long to try to build around that young quarterback?
That too,
and
because Gary Berry is starting to become that guy. And if
he's dropping little hints that I'm not happy. I want a quarterback. He's not saying it because he's very professional, but I feel like it's starting to become known that this dude's been doing so much with so little. Why not give him the quarterback he needs?
Yeah,
there's no way he should have 30 yards, 40 yards in multiple games. No way. It's too good.
No, for sure.
And the Rays thought he's better than CD and Devontae Smith. Ask Ray.
Please don't start that.
But
the man is not here to speak for himself.
He's not.
I'm gonna speak for him, man. He is up there. He should be up in that category. He should be up in that nonchalant echelon, man. What y'all talking about?
Yeah, we know you didn't believe anything you just said. But let me ask you this before we go to the NBA. We talk about quarterbacks being drafted. After Caleb, who do you think is that next guy that's going to be the quarterback taken? Do you think it's going to be Daniels?
Yeah, I
think it's going to be the dude from I think what's his May. I don't want to butcher his name.
Drake
Do you think it's going to be Penix? Do you think it's going to be Milton? Who you think it'll be?
I think not JT.
JJ McCarthy.
Jaden Daniels is going to be the next quarterback. That's if Caleb Williams go first.
Mm-hmm.
I got Jaden Daniels being the second quarterback that leaves off.
Okay. To New England.
If New England is smart.
Okay. Well, yeah, they have the number.
You know
pick.
what I mean? Because there's no reason. Why would you go? I think, in my opinion, I think Drake May and Matt Young is pretty much almost the same type of style quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And if you wasn't able to get it through with a quarterback that was pro ready because of the college that he came from,
mm-hmm.
What makes you think that Drake May is going to be the changer of a team that where I'm not saying that UNC stank, but they wasn't no bowl representatives, no top bowl representatives. Let me say that. They wasn't in the college playoff football hunt or anything of that nature. So I'm not trying to discredit the guy or anything of that nature, but we seen a quarterback that put up big numbers with a big college team.
Mm-hmm.
And with arguably one of the greatest college football head coach, Nick Saban.
Yeah.
Then he linked up with arguably probably one of the best coaches in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And that team just never could get right. So I just think that you got to, if I'm the Patriots, I would go a different route other than your drop back traditional quarterback. Gerard Mayo is there to spike things up and not looking the same, not hoping to be the same way that the Patriots has been for the last 20 years.
Yeah, I'm with you. I enjoyed that brief Cam Newton era over there in New England. I know if he didn't have that COVID after missed 2 weeks that it messed up his rhythm, I think a lot of things would be different right now for his career and New England. I think JJ needs to be drafted. Who knows when JJ is going to be drafted? But I'll say this: when you look at the draft and these teams, that's drafting, a lot of them need quarterback. Atlanta, they need a quarterback. Minnesota, Denver, Las Vegas, they all draft right, 12, 13, 11. All those to me are going to be quarterbacks taken. So don't be surprised if some of these quarterbacks that may have a quote unquote second round, grade in other years are coming out in the first round.
Yeah, that guy from Washington, Penix, he's not going to be a first rounder. I can tell you that now.
Yeah.
You think just because it's live?
Just because of his injury history.
Injury and age?
Mm-hmm.
I just think I don't think the age, but I most definitely credit that injury. Tearing ACLs in the knees and then having shoulder injuries also plays a big factor when these teams think about drafting these quarterbacks. So I feel like Penix might end up in the second round, but I really feel like he might fall the third round.
Interesting.
I can agree with you on that one, Anthony. I can agree. I think that can happen.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
I'm not totally sold on Bo Nix though.
I'm not sold on him,
but he might have a better chance to getting drafted earlier than a guy like Penix.
It's going to be a team that's wants to be aggressive and they think like I'm thinking is we don't want the injury, so we have to go ahead and take Bo. Bo looked good in Oregon anyway this year, so we'll go ahead and gamble on Bo before we gamble on Penix.
All right, let's move on to the NBA. We don't have a lot of time left in the NBA. Playoffs is very, very close. So before we get to that point, let me ask you, Dev, your award predictions as of March, 4th, 2024, a couple weeks left in the NBA. Who do you think is going to win these awards? Starting off with MVP.
Whew. I want to say this guy now. I'm rooting for him. I think his time is coming quick, fast, and right on time. I'm gonna go with SGA. I'm gonna go different. I know a lot of people doesn't really think that SGA has a chance to win an MVP this year, but one of the reasons why I'm picking SGA for the last 4 months, SGA has been averaging 30 plus.
Which is crazy. OKC has not been in lower than the 4th seed since after this All-Star break, even before the All-Star break. It hasn't been lower than the 4th seed.
SGA is really a rising star that a lot of people need to pay attention. I can't wait for OKC to start getting more media attention, like how Russ, KD, and James Harden was getting when that young team was put together.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the OKC will. If they're not a championship team yet, I just feel like they still too young. They're gonna go through that same spell that Russ and them had went through when they was young and going deep into the finals. But OKC is a team that you don't want to go 7 games with, especially if SGA is healthy. And that was the only part about SGA game previously, that he couldn't stay healthy, be on the floor way more. This year, SGA only missed 2 games this year. So which is
because I'm with you. Compared to last year was up in there, but in years before, after Chris Paul left and it was just him, he would show you glimpses, but then you just see him disappear for a couple of weeks. So I'm with you. Health is the key factor,
and he showed it this year. So I like Luka, I like Jokic, but I'm rooting for SGA to get MVP this year.
Kenny, you got the same pick?
Yeah. I just think right now he's in that kind of, I like to call it that Kyrie mode where he's like toying with dudes.
Mm-hmm.
Like he just gets whatever shot he wants. He gets to wherever he wants to on the court. And even if once he gets to a spot, it's like you don't exist. He just gets to a spot and he just drops it in your face. So even if you contest, he's still pulling up and knocking it down right in your face. So that's that different category. And he just literally just take what the defense gives him. And then, nowadays, we talk about this in our chat, is defensively, man, it's like Broadway. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can get anywhere you want to on the court because defense seems to be optional in today's NBA. So, but having said that, and the fact that he's that high up in terms of the where they are in the Western Conference standings.
Number 1, I believe.
He's the leading candidate right now for MVP. I think if Embiid, and sorry, Chris, if he would have stayed healthy, the way he was rolling, he was on his way to a back-to-back. But I think right now, where things stand and with health and all of that other stuff, I think it is SGA's award to win.
And I'm with you.
He's the man to beat right now.
I'm glad we all agree. To me, SGA should be the clear front runner. And I'm also, if Embiid doesn't get hurt, he's definitely going back to back. The way he started off the year, how dominant he was, I didn't see that slowing down anytime soon. But it was all about if he was able to make that 65 games, which is something we should discuss, on a different episode, because we saw how that played out. Him, being forced to play because his narrative, meniscus is torn. But with Shea, I look at his team, and, watching all these different, NBA sports talk shows, and I hear people, saying these all the other names. Shea's not getting the credit he deserves. Really look at this OKC roster. All young. All young. He's the oldest guy on his team, and he's not even 27, 28. No, you brought in Gordon Hayward now, he's the oldest guy. But before that, when they were really – and Gordon Hayward, he hasn't hit a stride with his team yet. His impact hasn't shown, which I think it will be, but hasn't shown yet. SGA was the guy leading this team, and he's still young. He's a bucket. Like you say, he can get to a spot, whether that's the mid-range, he's getting to the paint. He's not a bad three-point shooter. He just doesn't shoot them at volume. He's a bucket. And I remember watching him at Kentucky because I'm always going to be a Kentucky fan. And I saw him that second half of the year, and, after the new year, saw what he did. I'm like, oh, this dude's going to be the truth. Saw what he was, and, with the Clippers. When he got Chris Paul, I said, oh, he's going to help his game out. We look at him now. You can make a strong case he's the best point guard in the league if you wanted to. It's up in the air. We have so many, great talents at that point guard.
Luka definitely would have something to say about that, but you can make it.
He can, but you can't argue when you look at his roster and you look at the Mavericks roster on paper. Tell me who you'd rather have, and let's see who's higher in the standings. When you look at coaches, would you rather have a guy, who a lot of people don't even know his name, or Jason Kidd? So this is not shots at OKC. This is the fact that he's doing this with a roster that a lot of us didn't even have making the playoffs. We knew they were talented, but we thought they'd be a playing team at best, and now they're number 1. And so when you have a jump like that, to me, he's a clear-cut MVP. So let's talk about defensive player of the year. Mine's Wemby. Mine's Wembyana. I'm being honest. Mine's Wembyana. What he does on the defensive end, his rim protection. You know, we all thought Rudy Gobert was just amazing rim protector. Well, Wemby's taking it to another level. And on also that, I think Wemby's better at guarding space than Rudy is, in my opinion. I'd rather have Wemby in space than Rudy in space. I don't see Wemby being a defensive liability in the playoffs like how we've seen Rudy be in the past. So I think, to me, Wembyana, what he's doing, he should be defensive player of the year. What you think about that, Dev?
I like that pick. I wouldn't be mad at that pick. The guy I'm kind of going different with is Kristaps Porzingis. I really just think that what he's helping Boston in, because everybody thought that losing Robert Williams or that the defense on that back end was going to be different. Everybody didn't believe that Kristaps Porzingis was really going to be even healthy enough to even be helping Boston in their deep run that they having this year. Kristaps Porzingis, man, he's not leading the league in blocks, anything in that nature, but he is in top 5 in shot changes. He is top 5 when it comes to blocking. He is the top 5 when it comes to him and rebounding, and is helping the Boston Celtics out on that back end. So I think I'm kind of rooting for Kristaps Porzingis to get Defensive Player of the Year this year.
No, and I can't be mad at that because it's not all about stats. You know, a lot of people would think about defensive player of the year, and it always usually goes to a big man because he's leading the league in blocks and defensive rebounds. You know, impact, what he's doing defensive end, KP, it's amazing. I'm not going to lie. We all knew what he was going to be when he got, traded to that team. So, I'm not mad at that pick. What you think about that, Kenny?
Yeah, well, Wemby, man, all of the hype, he's pretty much lived up to the hype in terms of people saying that he is, a freak of nature and all of that other stuff. Like, literally, we haven't seen a guy with this type of length and athleticism, I don't think, ever. So some of the things that he's doing every night is just like,
it's impressive.
Yeah. Like, all you can do is just like literally just look at this guy and just shake your head. So, so I understand why it makes sense why you would pick him. So I'm with you guys. It's no need to reinvent the wheel. I think, Porzingis, KP, to me, I think he's more benefiting off of who he's playing with. I'm not sure. You know what I'm saying? Because you got a defensive player of the year on your roster as it is. So I think that's, that'll probably kind of hurt his case. So, yeah, I think Wemby is going to be the guy. And then let's not sleep on Chet Holmgren.
Yeah, I was going to mention him. He's doing
Chet.
Almost the same thing. It is crazy. You look at his numbers any other year, he would be up there in Defensive Player of the Year. So I'm not going to sleep on him. Both guys, I think, can honestly make the all-defensive team as rookies. Even though people want to say Chet's a rookie, this is first time playing an actual NBA regular season game. So I think both guys, to me, should be on the defensive player, the all-defensive team this year.
Definitely.
And I see some people in the comments. Shout out to my aunt for tuning in, my line brother Islam for tuning in. We all appreciate the support. Rookie of the Year. Is this a consensus pick in Wembyana? I think it's some close. It's a good second and third picks.
Yeah, you can make a case again. You can make a case for two people. The same case you can make with Chet because he's doing some special stuff too, and he's on a winning team.
And I think his shooting splits is still 50-40-90, if I'm not mistaken. And as a big man, that's still impressive.
That's different.
But I think the NBA is going to give it to Wemby to play on the safe mode to actually kind of change the narrative a little bit. I understand, like, you should be on a winning team. Your player style should kind of at least ramp up something a little bit, not just padding your stats a little bit. But what Wemby is doing, man, it's unbelievable, especially when he had that triple-double, when he just had rebounds, rebound, blocks, and points.
He had it with blocks, and he had it with assists this year.
You know what I mean? So it's just like I like Chet Holmgren what the Thunder is doing, but he ain't doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just think that it's gonna be for sure for Wemby on this one.
Okay, and yeah, you have no argument for me. I do want to shout out Brandon Miller though. He had a stint when he was doing this thing over there in Charlotte. Even though that Charlotte is Charlotte is all I'm going to say.
You can't award two losing teams in the same category.
Charlotte is Charlotte, but he's hooping. I think a lot of people his expectations. You know, I remember we was watching him during and Ray was not high on him during summer league.
Yeah, the NCAA tournament he struggled.
And
so
yeah, he struggled, but he hit his stride over the past few months. And shout out to him. And there's a lot of rookies in this draft to me that are making impact. You know, Jaime Jaquez is over there in Miami. Yeah. I know a lot of teams are mad they missed out on him.
Absolutely.
The rookie over there in Golden State. I don't want to mess up his name, but I know a lot of teams are mad that they missed out on him.
Yes.
This rookie class to me, you know, it's not always about the top 3-4 picks, but what gems can you find? And there's been a lot of gems in this draft. So let's move on. Most improved, player of the year. To me, I know who my pick is, but there's also some guys that have a strong case. So Kenny, who is your most improved player of the year?
Actually, I'm gonna defer. Give me some names because honestly,
okay, you got.
I'm just catching up to watching NBA games. So give me some names.
Okay, you have Jalen Williams over there.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Averaging 19.3 points compared to his rookie year, we averaged 14.1. Now he's a 44% 3-point shooter, taking 4 more shots. You have Scotty Barnes, who's leading his team, I believe, in every single statistical category, and he was a first-time All-Star this year. You have Tyrese Maxey, who's going to be.
That's the one.
He's going to make. I believe he was an All-Star, first-time All-Star. I do believe.
Yeah, that's the one for me.
That's the one for you.
Stop right there. Yeah, because he's gone from being
He's going from 20 to 26. Bro, I'm gonna read his number for you. 20 to 26, 3 assists to 6 assists, only averaging 1.7 turnovers, 3.5 threes he's making a game on 8.5 attempts, shooting 20 shots a game.
Yeah.
51 point performance this year with no turnovers.
Yeah, so to me, he's gone from being a number 3 to a number 1.
Yeah,
and it's not a lot of people that are able to do that. Like moving over those 2 spots, there's a big difference between being the third option and being the number 1 option.
Right about that.
He took the step that we wanted to see Tobias Harris take. To be honest, keeping it real. You know what I'm saying?
No, no argument from me.
So I think he's really just, taking the bull by the horns and just have really established that he was that guy. And then the other thing is that, and I'm sure you could speak to this, is that he's making nobody miss James Harden.
Sadly, you're not wrong about that. It has nothing to do with Harden. It's just the fact that this dude's coming, and I look at this character, quiet guy, humble guy. He's been that way, when he was in college, and he does his job at a high level. Not really of a complainer. He's a guy that you love to have on your team. And so, I'm with you. Nobody's really remembering that, wow, we had Harden, we had top 75, first ballot Hall of Famer, and he's gone. Because what Maxey's doing right now and how him and Embiid were that dominant duo and really high in the fact of how bad this roster really is. Because it's not the best roster. It's not terrible. But without them, you see these guys are close to barely making a play-in tournament. So to me, Maxey's a good name. Dev, who do you think is going to be Maxey?
I like Maxey. I'm going to go different. What about your guy, Kenny? Jalen Brunson. I don't know if he fits into this most improved.
I think he's more in that MVP conversation
category. But if Jalen Brunson will fit in this category, I got another person that I can go from different from Maxey also.
Go
ahead. But I feel like Jalen Brunson was his first time as an All-Star.
Yes,
this year also.
Yes.
Did he make first team last year? Or was he a second team last year?
I'm about to pull it up now.
If so, I believe that if he can make first team this year, I feel like then that can be another reason that can fit him in as most improved. We see that the Knicks improved better as Jalen Brunson game has gotten better in my eyes.
For sure.
It's no longer a 1A, 1B no more. It's Jalen Brunson saying that this is my team. And Julius Randle really had to be a passenger queen or a backseat rider because Jalen Brunson said, "Yo, this is my team." So I like Jalen Brunson, but if Jalen Brunson doesn't fit into this category, what about Jalen Green for the Houston Rockets?
That's a good one.
He does. He's not going to make it. And this is not me hating on him. This is the fact that when I have League Pass. Shout out to League Pass. I didn't know how valuable it was, but I sit there and I watch their games, and there's times where he's not on the floor. He has moments, but he's not being used like how he should be.
True.
And I think his leap, his leap this year should have been amazing. And I think he can contribute to winning. He's a guy that I want to see on a different team. It has nothing to do with Houston, but if you're not going to you draft all these guys and these high picks, and I knew personally Sengun was going to be what he is now, but you have a guy that's supposed to be your wing scorer, and he's not getting the opportunities I thought he would be. So that's a good name, Dev. I'm a fan of his. I just don't think he took the leap to really qualify for this category.
Yeah, now he ain't take that maxi leap.
No, he didn't.
But I still feel like that Jalen Green should be mentioned, and then if he's mentioned, I think that next year he's gonna. I see potential, and I see that his game is elevating. He's not just settling shooting jumpers when it was him and what was the other guy?
Him and KPJ.
Yeah, KBJ. Yeah. You know what I mean? You can see that his game is completely different now. Back then you could tell it was more hooping than playing basketball. This year, you can see that he's trying to change his game to actually playing basketball. So if not mentioned, I think he should be mentioned this year. And then next year, most definitely, if his game elevate, he should most definitely be most improved or be considered as most improved.
I'm not mad at none of y'all answers. Maxey to me only because I look at what he's doing this year. Over 6 points he jumped. I'm gonna go with Maxey, but guys like Scotty Barnes leading your team in basically every single statistical category that has to be mentioned.
For sure.
And we all knew that he was the number one guy. It was just a matter of when were they going to move off Pascal Siakam, and I didn't expect them to trade off OG. Kenny, that's a great pickup for y'all. And but we seen the leap he's taking now is just about making the team. Yeah, well, I think he's going to get back healthy at the right time. Guy like Jalen Williams, though, going from 14 to basically 20 points, being that bona fide number 2 guy, it's times where he takes over. I look at OKC again, League Pass, and I watch how he comes in at times where SGA is not on the court and they don't miss a beat. He's getting to his spots. He's getting to the basket. He's getting to that mid-range pull-up. And Jalen Brunson so I looked it up. He wasn't on any All NBA team last year. To me, he should have won Most Improved Player, in my opinion, last year over Laurie. Right. No disrespect to Laurie Markkinen. I don't think because he had the season he did last year, and now this year, I don't think they're going to vote him in for a Most Improved Player. I do think he's going to make an All NBA team. I don't think it's going to be first team though.
Yeah, probably second team because I
probably
think
second team. Luka SGA are going to be the first team.
True.
And it's going to be tough because it's all about honestly how this next month goes. Because Dame right now is doing this thing against the Clippers of no Giannis. You have Tyrese Halliburton to me who's fell off. So that at first people were talking about he's first team, second team. He's having a bad run right now after the All-Star.
Well, I think it's partly to do with injury. And then one other thing I want to say is that I'm glad that and I know Tibbs didn't listen to me, but I was harping for a minute. Put the ball in Jalen Brunson's hands and let him run that offense.
Absolutely.
And after we put the ball in his hands, you could see the difference that the offense is made in the offense because Julius Randle is not a guy, as as hard to work as he is, as hard as he plays. He shouldn't be initiating offense.
Mm-mm.
So we just became a better team once the ball was put in Jalen Brunson's hands. So, but I think he's more in the MVP conversation than he is the most improved.
You're right
For me,
about
about Jalen, Julius Randle, I felt like they tried to force him to be a Draymond. You know what I
Yes.
mean? They see how Draymond was able to control the offense and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
no disrespect to Julius Randle, but it
But
takes
that's not his skill set.
it's not even that. It's just mentally, can you not just think about yourself? Because Draymond don't, you can clearly see he doesn't think about himself. He's worrying about getting step open. He's worrying about how to get clear on the screen.
Making
He's
a
worrying
winning
about getting Kuminga the ball now, stuff
Yep.
like that. So if you mentally can't adjust to saying that, all right, I'm not going to get my 15 shots this game, you know what I mean, because the way how the defense is playing against me, then Julius Randle will never be in that Draymond category. And like Kenny said, he shouldn't be running the offense. He should be featured in the offense, the strong number 2,
Right.
most definitely.
Right.
But because I think if you take the pressure off of Julius Randle, and he the pressure, the moment won't be so big for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Just let him do what he does best. Slash and finish. Don't make him a guy that's going to be no point. He's not a point forward. He's a scorer and a rebounder. Period, point blank.
I agree. 6th man of the year. Dev, what's your thoughts on that?
I don't know if I think he's part of the bench, but I like Malik Monk for the Sacramento Kings.
Yeah, he's
Did
on
y'all
that
see
bench.
what my man just did the other night?
Absolutely.
He only had 4
39.
points going
That's
into
big time.
late in the third quarter, and end up with 29 by the end of the overtime. So Malik,
39,
one thing
wasn't
that
it?
the Lakers were stupid
Yeah,
about.
39.
Oh, 39. That's one thing that the Lakers were stupid about, of not re-signing him.
I don't know why. I don't know why they didn't do that.
I don't
that was a
understand
mistake.
why.
Him and Lonnie Walker.
He
Yep.
You
is
had
worth
back-to-back guys.
he is worth the money, and he is showing it, man. Him, the Kings not really putting together like they did the year before.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason why the Kings can still be a scary play-in team is because of those 2 guards and Sabonis.
Mm-hmm.
So I really think Malik Monk's a guy to get noticed. He's my favorite 6th man this year.
How about you, Kenny?
No, I'm gonna go with my man Russ. Although he just got hurt, so that might he may not play another game. Only problem is he may not play another game this regular season.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to salute Russ because if he doesn't sacrifice, when we talked about this before we went on a break, that somebody was going to have to sacrifice.
We did.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to salute Russ because he sacrificed and went to the bench, and they took off as soon as he did that.
Mm-hmm.
So for that reason, I'm giving him the ultimate props because that 6-man position, like, it's not for everybody. Like, you got to be able to accept that role and to be able to flourish in that role. You think about the Jamal Crawfords, you think about the Lou Williams, like those guys, flourished in that role, and not everybody's able to do that. And then for Russ to go from being a starter guy playing 35, 40 minutes a night to be able to now flourish in that role, for me, that's why I'm giving it to Russ.
I'm not mad at the Russ pick. We talked about somebody to sacrifice, and we all knew, everybody knew it was going to have to be Russell Westbrook, and he's doing that. But I'm going Malik Monk, and to me, my second would be Karis LeVert, though. Honestly, if I had to choose a second, to me, mine would be LeVert. But I look at what Monk's doing and why he's so important on that team, and kind of just like Karis LeVert. The difference between them and Russ is, you look at the Clippers, they have all those guys that create their own shot. When I look at the Kings, outside of De'Aaron Fox and I guess Sabonis, nobody really wears you off the dribble. There are a lot of catch and shoot guys in Harrison Barnes and Keegan Murray who, can score every now and then with the ball in his hand and, Herter, but they're all catch and shoot guys. They're guys that plays are being called for them screens. They're coming off screens, catching and shooting. Malik Monk's coming off that bench and initiating offense for him and others. He's really that whole entire bench unit. So what he's doing over there, keeping them afloat, and that 1-2 punch with him and Fox, and you got Sabonis coming off that pick and roll. He's a key piece to why this team is still hanging around because, like Dev said, they're not the same team as far as record-wise last year. They took a big dip I think a lot of it had to do with re-signing Harrison Barnes. They should have made some moves, but you're in the same boat now. How you going to stay afloat? And the way they're staying afloat is 6 Man of the Year coming to be Malik Monk. Coach of the Year, last award. Coach, we're going to shift this to you. Who do you think is going to be Coach of the Year?
All of them. That's a close talking. Oh, shoot. It's a hard job, let me tell you. But anyway, Coach of the Year. Coach of the Year. Is it Dagnall? What's the
Dagnall. Yeah, that's his name.
Dagnall. I'm gonna give it to him because we've been talking about it. We got a young team.
Mm-hmm.
You got a rookie coming off of an injury and hadn't played a game, in his career. And you got this team as a top seed in the Western Conference in OKC. Like all of those things, like you got to get him in. And then you had the issue with Josh Giddey, like right in the middle of the season. So to be able to manage that and to be able to weather the storm on that, and then you're still a top seed, I got to give it to him.
Dev, your thoughts?
I'm gonna go with Joe Mazzulla for the Boston Celtics. I just think that nobody
is trying to get Joe in some more playing time.
I just really feel like that everybody kind of slept on Boston this year. Everybody was worrying about Dame going to Milwaukee, going to change it. Miami still a scary team. Everybody was just like kind of just sleeping on Boston. Like Boston just wasn't in the finals just a couple years ago. And I just think that Joe Mazzulla is the way how he keeps his team calm. They don't look rattled as much. This team right now, with the 60 games that they have, this is the same exact 60 games, the same type record that the 2007, 2008, Boston Celtics is. So were in with that big three. And I just think that, he was able to put everybody in the right position. He was able to put Drew Holiday in the right position to make sure that, hey, we understand what you did in Milwaukee, but we need you to be our defensive guy that can shut this perimeter down. KP, we know about your history and with all the teams, your injury history. We just need you to just be the rim protector and stretch the floor whenever you can. JT, we already know that you're the guy. You know what I mean? Even though that 1 minute you are so high in the MVP conversation, and then by the end of the season you're like 5th or 6th. I don't understand how my guy keep doing this, but at the same time, he's able to weather all these storms. So I just think that Joe Mazzulla just need to go ahead and get his roses now, to showing you that team wasn't just about Udoka's team. It wasn't just Udoka's philosophy that helped Boston become their championship pedigree. It was also Joe Mazzulla that had to take on after all that mess that Udoka had left behind. He was able to clean up and keep them competitive. So I just think that Joe Mazzulla deserves to at least be Coach of the Year this year.
That I didn't expect you to go that way. I mean, dominance to me should be awarded. I don't know why, when it comes to awards that people look at dominance and they just, kind of move it to the side. You look at MVP, guys dominate for so long. Like a guy like Giannis, and Joker putting up these same numbers every year. It's kind of like, okay, we know you can do that, but let's find somebody else. But I say this, you look at Boston's record, 48-12. They have the highest point differential, 11-game winning streak, best home and away record. But if anybody slept on this team, they must not know basketball because they had by far the best starting five.
That they were going to be
to me, this was expected. That's the only. And again, I think dominance should be rewarded. However, when I look at the Oklahoma City Thunder, nobody expect them to be a regular playoff team. They barely thought they could make the play-in, and they're the number 1 seed in the West.
They ain't made the play-in last year, right?
No, they did not. They weren't even close. They weren't even close. They had the number 1 seed in the West.
The end, though. They fell off towards the end of the season though, because they were up. They were in contention.
They were up
like that last week.
They were up. But you know, I mean, you look at a team like the Lakers, not even in the play-in right now.
We in the play-in. We in that 10th
I'm looking at
spot.
something else. I'm looking at something else.
We in that 10th spot. Y'all don't do that. Nah, don't get me wrong.
No, you're in the 9th spot right now. 9th spot.
I did post a video saying that the Lakers are not a threat to make a finals this year.
Okay.
Check that out.
We about to speak on that shortly, but yeah, to me, they have to be he has to be coach of the year. They're going to be a top 3 seed. I don't think they're going to fall anything lower than 3 right now. Denver, Minnesota, OKC, they all have the same win record. But I think it has to be, Dagnall. We got to respect what he did this year, because a lot of these teams we expected them to be there where they're at, except for Minnesota, who I think they may have a strong case going from 8.
You can make a case for him too.
You can make a case for him, but again, I just say you can make a case. Lakers on a hiatus. Oh, that's funny. Well, speaking of the Lakers, and since you said what you said, Dev, going to this next topic, who's the best team in the West? Your Lakers really? They're not even in. They're not even in the tunnel. They on the side.
They're not even in the building right now. So they nowhere near the best team in the West. I guess this might be the OKC show today, fellas, because we didn't gave these guys a lot of praises, and honestly, in my eyes, I feel like I like Ant-Man. Mm-hmm. I really do like Ant-Man and the way that he changed that culture in Minnesota. But for some strange reason, I just feel like they're going to hit a flat line when it comes to first round. For some strange reason, depending on who they match up with.
Curry is out, that's for sure.
I just feel like they might go flatline. So I think OKC is the best team in the West right now. Even though they don't have no veteran leadership down there, these guys are able to stay in playoff contention, not play in contention, play off contention. I think that OKC is a team, because a lot of people is not really watching OKC games because they don't get a lot of TV games, but this is a team that you don't want to go seven games with. I really feel like if this game can get pushed to a game 7, OKC can just sneak and win. We already mentioned that how SGA can get to his spots and take over a game. We didn't already show you. We said about the young core pieces like the Josh Giddey, the Chet Holmgren, the Williams brothers and stuff like that. Like that team is, and then their team chemistry is probably the best team chemistry, other than the Boston Celtics.
Oh, that was funny.
I can't remember which teams Damian is again, but I'm pretty sure that my Ravens got further than your team this year.
Yeah, I think he's a Bears fan, if I remember right.
If you're a Bears fan, what you want to do?
The Lakers just made the Western Conference Finals last year when nobody gave us a chance.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Damian, gotta calm down, my guy. But anywho, I just really feel like that OKC is a scarier team. So I just think that they are the best in the West this year.
Real quick to that comment, Ant was late, and he's having a terrible game right now. Don't know why he's late. Didn't see any reason.
Know that he just had he just had the birth of his baby. That's why he left the game early. So I'm pretty sure
that's why he was late today.
He could be a reason. Yeah. You know what I mean? The birth of your first child. You don't want to
it would make sense. Absolutely. I just didn't. I was saying I ain't seen. I got league pass on, but yeah, hopefully he turns it up. But Ant-Man can score 30.5 if he wanted to. So, but losing to the Blazers is a team you don't want to lose to right now, especially when you're fighting for that number 1 spot. But Kenny, who do you think is going to be the best team in the West? Or he is the best team in the West, I should say.
I'm going with the defending. I'm going with the defending champs.
I was going to go with them too.
We got to put some respect on the Nuggets. Yeah, because you still got the multiple time MVP in Jokic. Jamal Murray is turning into one of them unguardable guys as well.
Yeah,
like the way he was cooking the Lakers. Sorry, Dev, on Saturday, like he just went to work.
You supposed to cook the team in the West.
And then also MPJ, offensively, he's another guy that can just get going and put up a 20 or 30 piece at any night. So I just think they have good chemistry. They have nice pieces around them. Even man, his name just escaped me. The brother of what's that wingman's name? Good grief, they just got him too. He got a bunch of brothers that play in the leagues. Like
Holiday. Justin Holiday.
Yes, Justin Holiday. Like he's come in and even contributed and given them, like that energy. So I just think that between them being battle tested and also being playoff tested, I just think that you still have to look at Denver, and you can't put in. And to the last point is, all those other teams, and this to your point, Deb, is that they're young and unproven, and they haven't been through those playoff wars. And we don't know at any time, and ask me how I know. I coached a young team this past season. You never know when they're going to have a young moment.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's part of the challenge is that. So that's why I'm going with the Nuggets.
Okay. Not mad at that. Defending champs. It feels like a lot of people, we talk about dominance and we talk about, the Western Conference. They're just writing off the Nuggets. Like they're not the defending champs. Like they don't have, to me, the second best starting five in basketball, arguably the best. Not like they're right there for the number one seed too. So it's not like they have a huge fall off. I just don't know why people aren't talking about them, because you have these nice teams in the West like the Mavericks, like the Suns, like the Clippers, who I picked, if you guys remember, and I never forgot, to win the West this year. And this is before the Harden trade, and it's on wax, so you can go ahead and rewind the tape. I picked the Clippers, and I'm going to stand by that. Even with Russ being injured, Bones Highland, the guy from Delaware, Kenny, I remember telling you about him when he was at VCU.
Yes,
I think
got drafted. You did.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to have the same kind of impact as Russ did as far as their playing style, but I'll say you're not going to miss a beat off the bench. He's going to get that second unit rolling, and he's going to start space the floor out. Already hit a three tonight in tonight's game. Clippers up 6 right now. This is a good win for them if they're able to hold this off. I have them in -2.5, by the way. But I think they're the best team in the West. You talked about those teams that are unproven, never had a real playoff run. Although they didn't win the championship with this unit, James Harden has been to a finals. Kawhi has been to multiple finals and has multiple championships. Paul George led this team by himself to the Western Conference Finals, even though they lost. So Russell Westbrook, he's been to a finals. He's had playoff runs. So, this team together did not win the championship, but they have some type of playoff experience. And Ty Lue is a, winning coach. He's won a championship. Elite coach. And he's won a championship compared to the other coaches, outside of Malone. So I think, to me, the Clippers are the best team in the West. And you talk about, a 7-game series. I don't know who wants to play this team in a 7-game series. As long as, they're clicking on all cylinders, they're going to be scary. This is a big test for them tonight because, Dame is like Portland Dame. Right now he has 19.5, 1 assist. He may go for 40. So you're looking at Portland Dame right now, and you got guys like OKC, Shea, you have Luka over there in Dallas, you have Devin Booker. I want to see how they're going to come out this second half and guard a guard dominant player, because it's going to show in the playoffs. To me, this is a good test for them. But I think the Clippers are the best team in the West. And real quick, so Dev, you don't have no faith in your Lakers, none at all. None at all. Not to shot. Not if they get a young OKC team or a Timberwolves team in the first round. Nothing.
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Team ain't healthy. What I mean? But like, when the last time you seen Gabe Vincent?
In Miami. In Miami.
I probably forgot that he played for the Lakers.
I never forgot, because he was the reason why I picked the Lakers to be good this year, and we haven't seen them since October.
When the last time you seen Jared Vanderbilt?
He's been I'm glad he took that money.
You know what I mean?
I'm glad he took that money.
So I don't have no faith, man. We can't stay healthy.
Mm-hmm.
We can't stay consistent.
Okay.
And then you relying on a 21-year-old vet
LeBron, yeah,
to lead you in points. So you telling me, AD, you cannot score 3 more points than your guy. You telling me that Jokic can still beat you down the floor?
And
after I didn't criticize about that last playoff run, there's no way that a guy like Jokic, who does not condition the way like any other players does, but he still beats big men down the floor. So until AD learns how to beat Jokic down the floor and stop him getting to his spots, I don't have no faith. You know what I mean? What we gonna do? We're gonna put Houchamari on him again?
So let me ask you this: do you think Darvin Ham should be the coach next year? Do you think he's a reason to the struggles?
Slim chance. He's not good at in-game adjustments.
Oh, terrible. Terrible rotations too, might I add.
That was the second thing. No, honestly, like I said, I like Darvin Ham, but I think that the Lakers stage was too big for him to on his first coaching gig. I think he should have maybe start off with Milwaukee or teams like that. You know what I mean? But even though Milwaukee didn't stay with Adrian Griffin, you know what I mean. But I just think that you should have started off with a low market team because Coach can tell you this. You go to the Knicks, you go to the Lakers. They expect big things from you. They expect results the same day that you walked in the door. So if you can't produce results that same day, then you already know the Boo Birds is coming.
So LeBron needs to smack some Lakers teams. The media who cares about Bron and not being a my guy. I mean, even with him doing all that, he's still by far the best player on the court. So you would think, with them quote unquote distractions, people might say, for LeBron, he wouldn't be dominating like he's doing. And if it wasn't for LeBron, I'm looking at where they at right now. They would be out the play-in. Like you said, year 21, and he's the reason why this team is barely in the play-in. All those guys they signed in the offseason, on paper, I thought it was beautiful. I remember coming on here, hyping up the Lakers, Gabe Vincent, your backup guard, Cam Reddish, who I thought, being with this team, being with a guy like LeBron was going to help him get back into that scoring mindset he had at Duke, in high school. I give
it to Cam Reddish. He's stepping up on defense.
Yeah, but he's not even a defender.
I was the same thing. He accepted his role in terms of being a defender off the bench, which, to your point, Chris, he was a scorer. So the fact that he was able to, make that adjustment to his game is a credit to him. I just think that, again, and we talked about this earlier, being able to be that sixth man and knowing how to come into the game and then just get right to it, like that's a skill. And I think that's what he's been struggling with because he had been a starter pretty much his entire career till he got to the league. So I just see he's haven't been able to make that adjustment, but he has made the adjustment defensively because Dev, and this is part of their problem is defensively is you just got a lot of bad defenders. D'Lo is a bad defender. Austin Reeves is a shaky defender. So you got two guys right on the perimeter, and that's where most of the penetration is going to come from. So if you got two guys at the head of at the head of the defense that can't keep the ball in front of them, you're going to have a hard time.
And our transition defense is terrible.
That's the big.
Y'all 3-point defense is also terrible too. Y'all give up the third. Y'all lazy rotations. I mean, it's a lot that's wrong with this team. Sorry, sorry, Dev. But as much as I want to praise this team and how I thought they were going to be, they give up the third most 3-point attempts, and their teams are shooting at 37% clip. So they shoot 37 threes at a 37% clip.
Yeah, that's hard.
That's hard to defend.
Hard to win. Yep.
And as much as you have paint defense with Anthony Davis, they don't even get to the paint because they're going to get that corner three. I remember watching that Suns game and Grayson Allen just hitting that corner three back to back to back to back. And it's every game with this team. So hopefully they switch it up. But, to Dev's point, they're not going to do anything. But let's talk about the East. Celtics. We talked about, Joe Mazzulla maybe winning Coach of the Year, how dominant this team is. Dev, do you think it's finally their year to win it all?
Yes, it has to be. Yeah, it has to be. It's there's in my eyes, I don't think there's a other than Denver,
Mm-hmm.
like a complete team that can really go toe to toe with them. We already seen that when they play Milwaukee, Milwaukee is a good matchup for them in the first half. But then once the second half gets going and that defensive clamps of Boston gets clamping on them, and they really makes Milwaukee a dimensional team. Milwaukee's not that team. You've seen that when it's time for them to play against the Heat, the team that they struggled with last year. They said, you know what, we gotta have to change this. They don't have the same type of guys this year, but we still got the same guys we had last year.
Mm-hmm.
So let's make this adjustment. Let's clamp them up. So far in the regular season, Boston is able to do that. Boston is able to beat all Eastern teams that they feel like that can give them trouble. And then certain games ain't just like no regular game. I beat you by 4 points, get off my court. You see, they are beating teams by 50. They are beating teams by 30. They are beating teams by 20. So it is really saying, yo, get off my court. You don't belong to it. And Chris, you said it earlier, that they have the best home and away record.
And the best point. They have it all. Best point.
They have it, everything that goes in their favor. So I just, like I said, that addition to of Drew Holiday and Porzingis has really changed the difference between having Robert Williams and Marcus Smart.
Yeah.
You have a guy who knows when it comes down in the crunch time how to get to his spot. Mm-hmm. Drew Holiday just don't jack up threes. My man will put you on the hip and put you on the post.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Kristaps Porzingis ain't just a defender. He is averaging 20-something points a game this year too. So I just think that this is the year for Boston. I don't really see nobody in the East that's really going to stop them. I think they're their own defenders. Mm-hmm. They're their own team. They will be the reason why they don't go too far in the playoffs. It will only be them. And I just think that Denver is the only team that I can see that's matchup wise that maybe that can give Boston some problems.
I'll say this. When it comes to the Celtics, everybody in the East, well, matter of fact, before I go, Kenny, since your team actually has a chance of doing something, in my opinion, what are your thoughts on the Celtics?
Yeah, I agree with Dev in terms of them being a team to beat in the East. I just think they have everything that they need. But being a Knicks fan, I know it all hinges on whether KP can stay healthy. You never know when that dude is going to, land the wrong way or something happen where he gets injured. And he has a history in terms of having an injury history. So knock on wood. Well, I ain't saying knock on wood. I ain't for nothing Boston. I'm sorry. But like that's the key. As long as he's in the lineup, because you got 5 guys and you can space out. You can put 5 guys on the court. You go 5 out with those guys, and you can't really help off of nobody. Everybody's a threat offensively. They're kind of similar to almost like when Golden State was in their heyday when they had KD, where you had 5 guys on the perimeter that you pretty much couldn't help off of anybody. So it's just it's pick your poison. And when all of them are knocking down shots, it's nothing you could do. So that's what we saw yesterday. They put that 50 piece up on Golden State. So when they start knocking down threes, that momentum just keeps rolling and rolling. And it's just an avalanche going downhill. So, while I like my team, I just think that making that midseason trade, we still need some more time for the chemistry to be developed. So I still think that we're a year away, but I like the direction that we're going. But to me, Boston is the team to beat. But having said that, we were talking about Joe Mazzulla earlier. Mm-hmm. All the pressure, he's been great in the regular season.
Yeah, all the
he's
pressure.
Got to prove his mettle in the playoffs because that's where you really prove your chops in terms of a coach because you got all of the film, you play in the same team, so they know everything that you do. So now it's about, to your point, we were talking about Ty Lue, what adjustments can you make? What can you bring different to the table? And then who's going to make a play when when everything breaks down, then it's just me on you and I got to beat you and make a play. So that's what's all going to boil down to. And they got everything that they need. They got the guy JT that's a closer. They got the length. They got the shooting. They got the defender and a playmaker in terms of Drew Holiday. So they have everything that they need. Now it's just a matter of them getting it done.
It'd be easy saying the Celtics are the best team and the team to beat, and it's their year to win. On paper, it is. I mean, you look at that starting five, you look at the improvements that they made, how dominant they are. But I have to see it to believe it in the playoffs. The regular season, you can be as dominant as you want, but we saw dominant teams like the Mavericks knocked out by an 8th seed. We saw last year with the Bucks, barring injury, of course, but knocked out by the 8th seed. One thing, East or West, it all depends on matchups. So for the team like, a team like the Celtics, I don't think they want to see anybody good to the Eastern Conference Finals. That is a Milwaukee, that is not Brooklyn, that's a New York. To me, those two teams could cause them a lot of trouble. So if New York is in that first spot, and New York versus Boston in the semifinals, not saying New York's going to win, but it's going to be a closer series than people think it's going to be.
Mm-hmm. No, it's going to be a war. Anytime New York
can get healthy.
Yeah, if New York can get healthy, Tibbs is finally going to have to play more in an 8-man rotation because this roster is loaded. You have 3 starters that aren't even playing right now. He's going to have a lot to do with mixing and matching his lineups. But one thing he doesn't have to worry about is you have offense and defense. So, it'd be times where you only have defense and no offense or offense on defense. You have the best of both worlds with this team. You can go 12 deep if you really needed to. That's how good this team is. Sixers not stopping Boston. Never did in the playoffs. Doesn't matter in regular season. Boston has our number. The Pacers, I think they're a team also. The Pacers are a team that nobody really wants to see in that first round because how they play. They beat more. They're not legit. No, don't get me wrong. They're not legit, but it's all about matchups. To Boston's best case scenario for them, they play. They don't want to play Miami in the first round, who's in the 7th seed right now. Let's say they lose to the Pacers, then they win that next game. Now they're going against Boston in that first round. Boston doesn't want to see that. Let's be honest. It's all about who has your number in the playoffs. Miami has Boston number in the playoffs. Miami has Milwaukee's number in the playoffs. So it's all about matchups. But honestly, Boston's the most dominant team. They should win. We just have to see it. Honestly, to me, we can say all we want about them. I have to see dominance in the playoffs from where they say, okay, it's y'all time. And until I see that, I can't really give them the nod. So let's move on. Let's talk about college basketball. Kenny, you sent the post. You got that post to pull up?
Yeah, I'm see if I can pull it up real quick.
Kenny sent the post in the chat, and I've been getting college basketball more and more this year. So when I saw this,
I ain't even gonna lie. I ain't get into it too heavy this year. I've been into female college basketball.
Yeah, and I told y'all I was more in the WNBA last year, so I can't wait for that to come back up. But yeah, this post or why are you pulling that up? Yes or no? The Clippers don't win or reach the finals. They're blowing their team up.
I wouldn't blow it up.
Okay.
I'll say running back with them. Maybe I don't see Paul George really. He might be the difference. He might be gone. But if I'm the Clippers, especially if they able to play in that new stadium next year, I say running back.
Yeah.
Okay. Can't be mad at that. So let's talk about that post. You can pull it back up if you want. And we'll start with you since you sent it. What squad are you choosing? The 2010s, which you have Kemba Walker, Jimmer Fredette, Gordon Hayward, Zion, Anthony Davis. The 2000s, you have Curry, J.J. Redick, Melo, Hansborough, and Jakeem Noah. For the 1990s, you have AI, Rip Hamilton, Christian Laettner, Chris Webber, or Tim Duncan.
Yeah, well, I'm the old head. I'm the old head on the show, so I got to go with my era. I'm going with the 90s. You got 2 champions in terms of Christian Laettner and Rip Hamilton.
Mm-hmm.
And shout out to Rip. He just got his number retired, which is big time. Then you got the killer AI. You got Chris Webber, who was unguardable in college.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, a guy that played in 2 national championship games. So I just think they got all of the pieces. You got the unguardable guy in the perimeter. You got the knockdown shooter. You got 3 post-up guys. I think the only issue that they would have in terms of you got pretty much 2 fours and 3 power forwards pretty much is that if they went against some, perimeter guys, they would have some trouble guarding in space.
Yeah.
But then the other way, once you get it coming back down defensively, who's stopping Tim Duncan in the post? Who's stopping Chris Webber in the post? Even Christian Laettner in college was a bucket in the post. So, and even, he could space out as well. So I just think they got all the versatility. They got, they got the all of the pieces and the size and the length. So that's why I'm going with the 90s.
What about you, Dev?
That's a toss-up for me. But I'm going to go with the 2000 team. I feel like we have...
That's because Melo on there. He's a Baltimore guy.
Calm down. I'm going to get there. But we got, 3 champs? National champs in Redick, Melo, and Noah. I don't think
Hansbrough... Did Redick win the championship?
I don't know if he won one. I know he was dominant. I can't remember him.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 2. I'm gonna say 2 then, because I know Melo and Noah won championships. Steph Curry, remember he was the guy that put Davidson notice. He was the guy that he put Curry Davidson into the playoff into that bracket. JJ Redick, we already know where he was hands down one of the best shooters that college basketball have seen. Melo, of course, number 1, he's a Baltimore guy. Number 2, that Syracuse Melo, man, he willed Syracuse to winning that national championship. And if people got to remember that Melo's sprained his ankle in the NCAA tournament, and he was still able to average over 17 in an NCAA championship. So I'm going with we'll go with Melo on that. But then Hansbrough, hands down, it was a double-double machine. It wasn't a rebound that he was not trying to grab. So I most thankfully think that in the paint, Hansbrough would not scared to go against Webber or Duncan when it comes to going inside that paint. He might be a little undersized, but my guy, they used to call him like Psycho T when he had bloody face and all that stuff. Yeah. And then Joakim Noah, man. No, he wasn't as the most dominant big man in college basketball, but Joakim Noah was another rebounder, was another guy that on that defensive end also that it was able to help Florida right along with Al Horford to win multiple national championships. So I'm gonna go with the 2000 teams for me.
If I'm going off this list, I'm going with the 90s. I think that's just pure dominance down there. And, like you said, they might not be scared. Just because you're scared don't mean you're going to get your ass kicked. Duncan, Webber, have fun with that. And Laettner, he still stretched the floor. Rip and AI, they're going to do their thing on the perimeter. And yes, all these guys, we're going to get in the flowers. They all did their thing. But I think that 90s team, I talked about earlier, you have to celebrate pure dominance. That's pure dominance. But I say this, and I should have did some more research on what teams I would have picked. But I feel as though 2010s, they missed up. They might have missed those guys had great college careers. I feel like if they would have changed 1 or 2 players around the 2010s,
I think AD for sure, Kimball for sure.
I even say Zion for sure.
No, I'm not gonna give it to Zion because Zion didn't have that much time.
They didn't really make a run in the NCAA tournament. That's the other part.
But the 2010s was more one and done, so that's why I was going to be hard to pick.
But even with that, AD
was dominant his 1 year.
Yeah,
did Kemba get a national championship?
Yeah, Kemba got one.
All right. Only thing I don't like is the Gemma and the Gordon Hayward.
Me
MJ
too.
was in the 80s,
I'm with you
Daniel.
on them too.
I mean, Damian, he's in the 80s, so he can't be on this list.
Yeah, I'm with you on the Jimmer and the Gordon Hayward one. We could stick. You could go like Jabari Parker if you wanted to. I mean, there's so many different guys in 2010s who I would have picked. And if they were on this list, I would go with them. But purely off this list, I think 90s is so dominant. You cannot pass that up.
Yeah.
So sticking with college basketball, Coach, I ask you, who's winning it all this year?
Oh man, so I couldn't tell you. It's again same deal where I'm just starting to get into watching college basketball.
Okay.
So I don't know. And then of course it's March Madness, so
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. But you always gotta talk about Duke. You can't, you always gotta talk about Duke in terms of what they're doing. So that's one. You gotta give me some more teams because I'm
Houston. Well, I give you the
AP.
Houston.
They play hard.
I give you the AP. Houston 26-3, number one. And this is the AP top 25 according to ESPN. Houston 1 at 26-3. UConn 2 at 26-3.
UConn, that's right.
3 at 26-3. You got Tennessee at 4, 23-6. Number 5, Arizona with Caleb Love at 23-6.
Yeah.
Iowa State 23-6. North Carolina, you got 7. Marquette 8. Duke 9. Creighton 10. So and I give it you the reason why you one of the reasons why I got back in college basketball. We didn't talk about this years and years ago, but I started tapping in this year, and man, it's been exciting to watch. So for me, I'll go. If I was to pick a team, I would go UConn. I like Terrence Newman. This is more personal side. I like Terrence Newman and what he's doing for that team. We talk about guys having a good college career. He's leading their team in points, rebounds, and assists as a guard. So he's doing their thing, and they have tied for the first best record. And then as a fan favorite, I like this Kentucky team. If they're able to hit all strides on offense, I don't know if a team's going to be able to keep up with them. You have, Antonio Reeves, who's a knockdown shooter. You have Rob Dillingham, who's going to be lottery. You have Reed Shepherd, who's a very good guy. And then people forget about DJ Wagner. To me, and I was talking to my friend Makai on Twitter, DJ Wagner, to me, he's the X factor. If he's able to be consistent and able to give you some type of production, it's going to be hard to beat this team because you're going to have to keep up with them scoring. Defense, defense is all up in the air. It's all about how you want to defend it, Kyle. Some teams buy in on defense, not the best on offense. Some teams are amazing on offense, not the best on defense. To me, give me offense over defense any time of the week. Because at the end of the day, you got to put the ball in the basket. And that's what Kentucky does. So I think, honestly, my favorite's UConn, but my sleeper is Kentucky. Dev, how about you?
I'm liking Kentucky this year. Like I said, I haven't really focused on the men's side of the college basketball this year. But the times I do see Kentucky play, I've seen maybe about 2 games from Kentucky, and they was dominant in both of those games. It wasn't like a blowout, but you can just see that the talent was different. Kentucky, it's not the same Kentucky team that previous years before, one of them dominant teams that you felt like, well, yeah, Kentucky's going to stomp through the NCAA tournament. But so I just think that Kentucky can be that team. I think they will be a number 1 seeded team. Also going into this NCAA tournament. So I'll go with Kentucky.
Okay. So let's end off the night boxing.
Ooh.
We're going to talk about this Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia fight. Supposed to take place, if I'm not mistaken, April 20th. First question, Dev. Who do you think is going to win the fight?
Haney.
Let's get out to Haney.
Haney.
Okay. Convincingly?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that Haney is going to have a lot to prove. And I just think that the pressure is more on Haney than it is on Garcia. And I think that's why Garcia is taking the route that he's taking. Because you really can see that Haney ain't doing too much talking once they made that date.
Nope.
Haney just be like, all right, I'm going to show up. It's Ryan Garcia, the one that's, hey, you seen this footage of Tank
He
getting with
always been
Haney?
that guy, though.
You know what I mean? And that's the one thing I kind of fault Garcia in, because it was another guy that did so much talking and always got his ass beat. And I'm hoping that Garcia is not going to take that AB route.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be that I can man. Please, you know what I mean? Because, I feel like after Garcia has some ways of trying to get the people back after he lost that Tank fight. And I think that he is trying so hard to win the people back outside the ring than what he's trying to do inside the ring. Now, don't get me wrong, Garcia looks totally different after that Tank fight.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that he's not just trying to go for the knockout kills. I feel like that now he's able to tap you to sleep a little bit and then hit you with the big boom. If Garcia can stick with that, then this fight can be a little bit different. But if you go in there and with the smile and you not being too serious and you sleep on Haney, because Haney, even though Haney is not the fan favorite that everybody likes sometimes, Haney's not no slouch boxer. And each time we seen Haney box, we kept saying Haney's getting a little bit better. All he gotta do is just tweak this and tweak that. Mm-hmm. Haney can be hands down, pound for pound, and be that guy.
No question.
So I really just think that Haney is ready for this opportunity. I think that Haney is going to seize this opportunity. Now, I don't think Haney is going to get him out of there quick because, like I said, Garcia is still a fast mover. Garcia is still a good defender at times. This one might go to the 10th round in my eyes. I think that this one can go to the distance, and I think that Haney is prepared to go distance with Garcia. And I think that Garcia is not prepared to go the distance with Haney. At least not what I'm seeing so far. So unless things changes up throughout these weeks, so far I'm giving it to Haney.
What's your thought on that, Kenny?
Yeah, I'm with Dev in terms of I just think that Haney has just continued to add more and more to his bag as he's gotten older. And the fact that he's got so much experience, like he started so young that he's really just now starting to come into his prime. And I think that the other thing is that we know out of the two who has a history of tapping out.
Yeah, not lying.
I mean, again, this is real talk, so this is what we do.
We be honest.
Like, you got a history of tapping out, and that's what because I watched the two of them. They was on with on First Take with Stephen A and the crew, and he was harping on that. Like Dev was harping on that. So and Garcia was kind of making excuses about being weight trained and this, that, and the third. But I just think that when the rubber meets the road, and to Daryl's point, I think he's going to take him into deep waters, and because the other part about Haney is that he's not no guy that's got that one hit quitter in him.
Yeah,
like he basically breaks you down, kind of sort of similar in the Floyd manner, in the Floyd style, in terms of making you miss and then just breaking you down and countering you and pot shotting you until you just basically just get frustrated and tap out. And I just think that that's what's going to happen in this case, because I think my last thing is that Garcia to me is more style over substance.
Mm-hmm.
So for all of those reasons, that's why I got Devin Haney.
Okay.
And I got him winning a decision by decision.
For me, I say this fight's going to sell.
No question.
First and foremost, this is good for boxing.
Shoot, I'm mad. I'm gonna be out in Vegas 2 weeks before the fight.
That's a tough one.
Right.
That's a tough one. Who I think's going to win? I'm torn. I think Devin's the easy answer. Devin's going to win. It's going to go the distance, but I think also it'd be great for boxing if we get a trilogy out of this. What if Ryan knocks him out?
Oh no,
this is a big what if.
If we're talking trilogy, I think that's got to be him and Tank.
True, and that was my next point though. If Haney wins, It's no way in the world that's not the next fight. I think this was okay. I'm gonna show you I'm on that level. I beat this guy. It's me or you're ducking. Like Canelo. Canelo's ducking. I know y'all came up. We could talk about that. You know, to me, Devin.
If he's ducking Crawford?
No, he's ducking
Benavidez.
Benavidez.
Yeah.
Especially that deal that Benavidez.
Oh my goodness, Oh yeah, to me that was the ultimate sign if he was ducking. But briefly, I think Devin's gonna win. It'd be nice if we get multiple fights out of this. But to your point, the best multiple fight would be Devin versus Tank. However, I think this is gonna sell. I think he's gonna do numbers. And if Ryan's gotten better from the last time he fought, I think it could be a better fight than most people are giving it credit to be.
Yeah, that's why I say I got it going late. I got it going to the 10th round because the first 3 rounds they're going to dance with each other.
Right.
They're going to fill it out. They ain't really going to start throwing hands to maybe about the 5th round.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's going to be, to my eyes, who got the better conditioning now.
Yeah.
Because you didn't already dance for 3 rounds. Now you're throwing hands for the next 3 rounds, hopefully. Now it's just about, can you condition yourself? Are you tired? Is your punches still landing some pop when it get late into these rounds? And then that was the only thing about Garcia is that a lot of Garcia fights don't last long. It's always in between that 5th to 6th round where kind of Garcia can either get his opponents out or he's done. As far as Haney, I think we just seen Haney go multiple fights, to a decision.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of gives, in my opinion, Haney that type of advantage a little bit. Like, he can go the distance. He can box you for 10, 11 rounds if it has to be.
Okay. Now, do you still think Tank is the best out of all these guys?
Yes, I still believe in my God, man. Ain't nothing but y'all already know how I feel about my 410 people, yo. I still feel like that Tank is still the best in boxing. I still feel like Angel Reese is still the top prospect in college women basketball.
Over Juju Watkins, even though she can't come out this year, but
Juju not coming out this year, but
she can't. But
yes, she's a double queen.
She is.
You know what I mean? She did out of I forgot how many games she played with LSU. I think let's just say 25 games with LSU. She got 20 double doubles. So
that's impressive.
You know what I mean? That we gotta. I'm still a fan. I don't get me wrong. Caitlin Clark is going to be tremendous. She's going to set especially in the mock draft of where she's at now. Her and Aaliyah Boston go to the Indiana.
Oh man,
I told people they're not really in Chicago WNBA. I said those two together,
crazy.
It's going to be scary.
Oh my goodness,
inside outside.
and they have another person on that team.
They could be the female version of Stockton Malone.
Yeah,
absolutely. They could honestly, for the people that around my age, group, they could be a little bit better version of John Collins, but what Trae Young and John Collins were supposed to be.
Yeah.
Because to me, a lot of people say Caitlin Clark plays like Curry. She plays like Trae Young because Trae Young's a passer.
Yes.
Curry isn't dropping 35 and 10. That's a Trae Young thing. Go back and look what he did at Oklahoma. You could argue Trae Young could be over there on that list over Kemba.
Well, you about to start the whole point guard thing again.
No, it has nothing to do with the point guard. I'm just saying their play style. I'm just talking about pure play style.
Well, I mean,
pure play style. But I'll say this: that team over to Indiana. I mean, you got Leah Boston, you got Kelsey Mitchell, you got Wheeler. But yeah, we could talk about that another day, man. We talk about that.
Oh yeah, we gotta show some females some love, man.
Yeah, there's gonna be some topics in the summer. Trust me, I'm all on the WNBA. It's gonna be the LA Sparks got 3 top 10 picks. When you ever heard of that in basketball?
I ain't heard of that since they drafted where they had Lisa Leslie, then turn around and get Candace Parker the following 2 years.
Like 3 top 10 picks, and Angel Reese is going to LA.
No, Angel Reese, they got her going to Washington so far.
Which would be dope because she's from the area. That would be dope.
Would be dope because if she's almost from that area, and if Della Dawn can come back from her injury, those two can own that paint.
And they have a good squad over there. Cloud did her thing last year. Can't forget the other. I can't her name. Defensive. She's more of a defensive person, but her offense, Sky, she took a next level with Della Dawn being hurt. But I mean, I don't know. Angel Reese not going to be number 2 pick.
No, Angel Reese is she's a top 10 pick, but she's falls like 8th, 9th.
Oh, wow.
LA crazy if they don't draft her.
Yeah, she fall like 8th, 9th.
LA lost every player. You got to bring in some box office.
Sure.
But again, that's the topic for another day.
I ain't even gonna lie. She wind up going to Washington. I'm going to a couple of Mystic games. She gonna be down here.
Let me know. Let me know. I'll pull up. Let me know something.
Ray, get ready, Ray, yo.
Yeah, that's about to be the best team in Washington. Start to the Wizards, who's going to take a win tonight because the Jazz are defeated. Oh no, they blow the lead. It's over with. But yeah. But it was always fun. It's always going to be fun talking sports with y'all. Great episode today. We're gonna be back.
Everybody, before we go off, everybody shout out their own. Everybody putting out their own content. Shout your stuff out and what you got coming.
Go ahead, Dev. You can start us off.
Y'all already know, man. It's Mr. MTMO himself. My thoughts, my opinion, yo. My 120th thought will be airing this Friday. Haven't got out the time yet, but it's gonna be around that 5-6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we're gonna be kicking that talk like how the 49ers were stupid for getting rid of Steve Wilkes, how the Bears will be stupid if they move on from Justin Fields, and we'll be talking about females NCAA side, and we'll be talking about which college basketball era was better now. Since y'all didn't pose this question, now I gotta get my my audience in on this. So there you go. So tune in this Friday, man. My 120th thought will be out. Also, while I'm on to some announcements, make sure that y'all stay tuned to all my, especially my personal page. If you ain't following my personal page on Instagram or Facebook, please do, because my sons are
Coach.
They on an undefeated streak right now. They finished the season 6-0. They got the first round bye in the playoffs this week. This upcoming Saturday, my guys will go out here to see if they go to the chip. And this is my guys' first year playing under the whistle. So I can't wait till my sons do that. And then also my daughter will be playing in her volleyball tournament this upcoming weekend. So this weekend I'm gonna be stupid busy, man. So pay attention to my social medias. Win or lose, I'm so proud of my kids, man.
That's great. That's great, Kenny. You shout yourself out.
Yeah, for sure. So first follow my team. You see it down there in the account on Instagram. We're in off season right now. Matter of fact, I hope them dudes is in the bed because we got a 6 a.m. workout in the morning.
Y'all better go night.
Yeah.
Right. When we found out that you was late, one of my sisters is running the 6 a.m.
Running them sprints.
Yeah. So make sure y'all get y'all rest. And then, I want to shout my guys out. We finished we finished under 500 at 12-15, but we went to the district semifinals, which is like the sectionals. For you guys, and then we were number 4 in the city in team defense. So I want to salute my young guys. Coming off a rebuild, losing 5 starters. So just really, really proud of how they committed and locked in. And so now we're in the off season, putting in that work before the school year ends, and then we go to team camps. But we do got a alumni game coming up, March the 22nd, Friday, March the 22nd. And then next year, I'm letting y'all know right now, we will be live on YouTube next year. Games will be live on YouTube next year. We got a channel through the school. And Yeah, we got a great school, man. Anybody that's looking for a Catholic education, go to sjaweb.org. sjaweb.org. I know the coach is a pretty good guy.
Very well, don't you?
Yeah. And then also I got some more content on the Minds of Creativity, Any Key Video Show. We back, season 2. We 3 episodes in. I talked to Kenny Lewis from Chicago. He got a fire song with Kim Burrell. So there's a video clip of that on there. We just did an R&B with Solo Music, who got a feature with Rel, formerly of Rockefeller Records. He had a smash with Jay-Z. So if you know Rel from Rockefeller, they got a dope song together. It's out wherever you get your digital music. Nothing on You. Got a clip of that video. Then Jessica Jolia. Matter of fact, we 4 episodes in, I think. I'm losing count. I'm putting out too much content. So, but anyway, she's super dope. She got a song with Jan Hunter, who's a hot producer. They collabed on a couple of joints, and she came on. So we got a clip of her and Jan. Then we got a jazz episode with Ulysses Owens Jr., who's teaches at Juilliard. Got amazing jazz band, Generation Y. So they're all out on the Minds of Creativity channel. And you could also catch them on my YouTube channel. And it's all Coach_ANYKENY. So we got more episodes, the place and platform for independent creatives. So if you're an indie artist, holla at me. So we could get you on the show and show people your content. So more shows coming.
Definitely check those guys out. My handle sportsw_Chris. I got a podcast that's going to be out Wednesday. You know, we kind of touched on these award predictions. It's going to be me previewing the playoffs, talking about some key matchups that potentially could happen. My website is going to be fully back up and republished on March the 13th. So you're going to out from sports articles. You're going to see all my updates on there. And all the people that like to bet. Dev know, Kenny know. I was sending some locks in. I'm going to bring that back today for Lakers and Thunder's game. You see that handle. I'm going to be posting 3 different things on Twitter. And for the people that, doubt me, and there's another Chris on ASAP that's posting his bets. It's not me. I know some of my friends thought it was me. For people that doubt me, I don't know if you could see that, but this is just yesterday. Green. These picks I give out for free. Green, and green some more. And I gave out, the Clippers -2.5. And I thought they were going to blow out the Bucks. The Bucks are still in, but I think the Clippers could still win this game by 3. So I'm going to post some stuff for you about the Thunder and the Lakers tonight. But again, appreciate everybody for tuning in. This is ASAP Real Talk. We always going to bring the real talk, and we're going to be back real soon. Have a great day.
Tempo, time, let's go.
We bring that real talk when it comes to sports, covering the news, giving you the truth. Nothing but that real on hoops in the league. All things NFL, we don't miss a thing. Getting with the coverage, we loving it all day. Picking up the news, tell us wherever the ball lay. With the NFL, NBA, they box so. Sports news in the hands of a man with fair takes. Tell them, coach, statistics and realness that's being spoke. Either hit it for the win or they hitting the goal posts. Either way, we woke up to the news of the day. Any Kenny could call it, he like to talk it out with Ray. Fast breaks down the lane, they better move out the way, or they pulling from perimeter. Curry bury the trade, yeah, they got it. Woo! Duval with the hottest, Chris and Dev like the master, and mix it up like it's Logic being modest. They been looking for that real, trying to get it feel. Sports podcast, they running back on the real. That's a steal, yeah. They never sick, but they ill. Real sports talk going, deliver, signed and sealed. We bring that real talk when it comes to sports, covering the news, giving you the truth. Nothing but that real on hoops in the league. All things NFL, we don't miss a thing.